Nigerians today kept a date with history as they marched to polling booths across the country to take part in the presidential and National Assembly elections. The elections were earlier postponed by a week by the electoral body, INEC, over logistic challenges. In most parts, polling opened at 8 a.m. with accreditation and voting taking place side by side. Generally, most Nigerians described the exercise as successful with an impressive turnout. There were, however, some cases of late arrival of electoral officers and materials in parts of the country, which resulted in extension of voting hours at effect by the electoral body. In Rivers State, there was a shootout between the military and suspected hoodlums, leading to a number of casualties in Abonema. In Lagos, cases of disruption and burning of ballots were recorded, while in Kogi, there were cases of shootings at some polling booths. In spite of these challenges, the polls have since been concluded and collation is ongoing in various parts of the country. One of the early risers today was the president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. He was at his polling booth with his wife shortly after 8 a.m. And in just a few minutes, they both voted and returned home. Our correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
It's decision day. Nigerians and the global community had waited anxiously. The people will choose a president and members of the National Assembly. Electoral officials, security agents, the media and voters at Nyam polling unit in Daura. The day started well before 7 a.m. Setting up was completed and voters on queue 15 minutes before polling opens.
What do you think? Can you see? I've reduced my height already.
It is the president and APC candidates' voting booth. President Buhari arrives in company of his wife Aisha to vote. It was a smooth process with some moments of laughter when the president looked to see how his wife voted. As he leaves, he fielded questions from reporters, including one asking if he will congratulate his opponent if he loses.
Well, at my constituency here, I'm pleased people are already lined up, so I will save time to go so they can continue. Thank you very much.
How do you feel about the exercise so far, Your Excellency?
Well, so far so good. So far so good. Nigerians understand and they are behaving themselves.
Are you hopeful? Are you hopeful?
What?
The outcome of this exercise. Are you hopeful?
Are you hopeful, sir?
Very hopeful indeed.
But if you lose this election, will you accept defeat and congratulate the winner and hand over power eventually?
I will congratulate myself. I'm going to be the winner. Thank you very much.
Other voters took turn to exercise their franchise in this once in 4 years exercise.
Yadda na fahimci zaɓe tanadin da aka yi da shirin da aka yi yana tafiya daidai kuma jama'a sun fito sosai maza da mata kuma ana yin shi a cikin nutsuwa.
The turnout is impressive and orderly under the watchful eyes of security agents and observers. The size of the ballot paper did, however, present some awkward moments, but the people are happy they participated and hope their votes will count. From Daura in Katsina State, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
Just like the president, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, was also accompanied to his polling booth by one of his wives. After casting their ballots, Alhaji Atiku told journalists that as a Democrat, he is prepared to accept the outcome. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, has more.
So good. I am impressed with the turnout of people, and I hope the presiding officers or the electoral officer will be able to cope with the turnout. I look forward to a successful transition. That's what I look forward to.
Thank you.
Will you be okay with the result, whatever way it is?
I am a Democrat.
Thank you. Let's go.
We'll have that report by Lanre a little later. Our crew also captured other presidential candidates casting their vote at different locations. Not left out were the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and the All Progressives Congress, the APC. Our correspondent Victoria Idowu reports. Again, we'll have that report just a little later. In the meantime, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and the House of Representatives Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, also cast their votes in their home states. While the Senate President expresses satisfaction with the turnout of voters, the House of Representatives Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, commends the progress made by INEC and the conduct of today's exercise.
Fairly okay, judging by what I've seen here, that it's a bit smooth. But in the sense that, I had a problem, the card reader couldn't automatically authenticate me. So I had to thumbprint on the voters register, so to say, for me to vote. So that is one of the flaws I've noted, even though the process of authentication was repeated twice. But somehow the card reader couldn't accept my fingerprint. So I had to thumbprint on the voters register for me to vote. That's just one of the things that I've noticed. But this is just one polling unit in perhaps hundreds of thousands across Nigeria. So if what is transpiring here is what is happening across the length and breadth of Nigeria, then I can say that this meets the standards of a democratic elections. But the problem will happen maybe in the nooks and crannies of this federation. They know that the eye of the media will be here because the speaker comes from this unit. So certainly you can see that it is fairly more organized, it's better packaged, and we hope that this is the situation across all the polling units in this country.
That is the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, casting his ballot today. Earlier today, he did express satisfaction with the turnout of voters.
Come out to vote, despite the frustration of last week. Nigerians have come out. The turnout here is impressive, and I'm sure the president of the country will be impressive. We thank Nigerians for coming out to vote. Those who have not come out to vote, they should please come out to vote, because there are still challenges here and there. INEC needs to ensure few resources here, few this, few that. They should try and make sure that they meet up before the end of the day to ensure that where there's still few challenges, Nigerians have shown that they want to participate, and INEC has a responsibility to show that back to Nigerians by ensuring they deliver an efficient election.
We can bring you more now on what our crew captured earlier today on the other presidential candidates casting their ballots today at different locations. The vice presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, at the All Progressives Congress, the APC, were caught on camera casting their ballots. Our correspondent Victoria Idowu reports.
It started out like a slow day, empty roads, everyone gathering at their polling stations. At Victoria Garden City in Etiosa local government area of Lagos State, voters waiting patiently for the arrival of INEC officials who eventually turned up about 8:30 in the morning. Setting up took a few minutes before the roll call.
First and foremost, we are very sorry for coming late.
Apologies accepted. Voting started at 10:30 a.m. The Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, as well as his wife, had arrived a few minutes past 10. They waited for a few more minutes before joining the queue to perform their civic duty. The Vice President gives his impression of the exercise.
Very smooth. The officials were on hand to help out in every way, and everything went very smoothly indeed. It was very good.
From the same polling unit, presidential candidate of the Alliance for a New Nigeria, Feladro Toye, alongside his wife, also cast their votes. And he gives his impression of the exercise.
As it is going here, it's peaceful. We hope that our votes will count and that it will be a free, fair and credible election.
In Agolutu, in Anocha local government area of Anambra State, vice presidential candidate of the main opposition People's Democratic Party, Pt.1, voted at about 8:30 a.m. He, however, expressed reservations about the time spent at the polling booth.
The system is still a bit clumsy for a lot of people. Look at the time it takes for us to be able to go through the process. And even when I got there, I had to ask because the inks and everything were not proper.
In another part of Anambra State, Newi specifically, the presidential candidate of the Young Progressives Party, YPP, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, was not satisfied with the takeoff of the exercise.
It's difficult to say you have faith in the process. We just have to wait and see, because there is no project management approach to voting and elections in this country.
This day is that day everyone has been waiting for. International observers watching keenly how the election in Nigeria would go. At the end of the day, they can only hope that when these votes are counted, theirs will also count. Victoria Ido, Channels Television News.